Good morning. Happy Wednesday, Mavericks. We're doing a little special, I guess, celebration, we should say, because we have a wonderful guest from Anschutz that I'll let Catherine introduce us. But we're going to be celebrating our older adults. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Catherine.
Yeah, but first we have to let everyone know that that is Mr. Brooks, who Francis is holding in his arms, and he's joining us this morning. And this is how we work today in this world. So everybody say welcome to Brooks. So Jodi Waterhouse is our guest here. She is the program manager at the Multidisciplinary Center for Aging at Anschutz Medical Center. Jodi, thank you for joining us.
Oh, thank you so much for having me today. It's great to see both of you.
It's great to see you, and I'm excited to see you in person again. And I think it was a little over a year ago that we actually did meet in person, and a year and a half, actually. And you had just moved here from San Diego. So welcome to Colorado, because it's snowing out right now.
I know. The temperatures aren't very nice this week for us San Diegans, but it's okay. Still beautiful nonetheless.
It is. It is, especially when it's that blue, beautiful sky and it's still freezing cold out. It's still beautiful, sunny sky.
Oh, no, so it's great to be here.
We want to talk today about something really cool that you're doing, and that is Older Coloradans Week, right?
That's right.
Can you tell our audience what it is?
Absolutely. So the Colorado Senior Lobby, I'm not sure if your audience is familiar with that, is a nonpartisan, non-affiliated organization that does education and advocacy for issues affecting older Coloradans. And we spend a lot of time at the Capitol and with our legislators to ensure that they are hearing and seeing the needs of older Coloradans and making sure that we put through legislation that supports that. Well, discussions have happened over about the last 6 months about we really need to celebrate our older Coloradans. And why not dedicate a week of educational programming that really does that, that celebrates their work, their value, their contributions to the state. So we were hopeful when we talked about that we would be sitting at the Capitol. Unfortunately, due to circumstances, we're still all reporting live from home. So here we are. So we took Older Coloradans Week virtual and decided rather than a week-long event, let's start out this year with 3 days of educational programming, and then as our first annual, and then we'll launch into next year, hopefully, fingers crossed, actually being at the Capitol, where we can be interacting more with our legislators, and again, providing an educational opportunity for our citizens of Colorado who support older Coloradans issues.
That is so fantastic. And we're really excited to see this happening. And, you know, we're all about putting Colorado on the map for aging and aging services. And our aging population is growing here pretty rapidly. 2017, I just saw we were listed as the #1 state to age in, to grow older in, which I love. And I'd love to see us climb back up to that spot now. But tell our audience a little bit about what's the content, and it's free, right? It's all virtual, it's all free. And what's the content and who would go?
Sure. So it is an absolute free event. Donations certainly are accepted, but absolutely free to anyone who'd like to attend. And the week really started on Monday with laying the foundation of how to educate and advocate in now a virtual world. You know, think about our advocacy with our legislators quite often was done in person, standing, you know, outside their offices or in meetings with them. And now we don't have that ability to do that with the Capitol being closed. So we took that advocacy and training session and tweaked it a little bit so that we could teach folks how to advocate now when you're doing it like this in more of a virtual world. So we spent really Monday focused on that to lay the foundation for the week's activities. Tuesday, we hosted 2 different population groups. So we had presenters that represented our rural populations, older adult populations throughout the state of Colorado, and the work that they are doing in their communities. And then we had a panel of 3 speakers who are doing work with diverse communities. So they talked very specifically, not only about their work, but what is it that they need? I mean, a big part of this week is also asking, what do we need? What are the issues for older adults? Yesterday, we did have a handful of legislators who were actually on the Zoom with us, and they were able to have the dialogue with the panelists and the audience. So that was terrific. Today, as we close out Older Coloradans Week, we will focus on age discrimination and the workplace for older Coloradans. Unfortunately, older Coloradans have been most affected population due to the pandemic, of losing jobs. And we want to ensure that they get back in the workforce, because I'm not sure if your listeners know, but the average retirement age here in Colorado is 71.8 years. So
I love that.
People work a long time and we're just living longer and we're healthier and we want to work. So we need to put in the structure, the systems, the processes to make sure that our older Coloradans get the same chance at employment as any other population does. So we'll focus on that starting at 10 a.m. this morning. And then this afternoon, we will really wrap up the week's activities by a big call to action. You know, what is it that we've learned this week? How can we deploy the citizens of Colorado to really advocate for these older Coloradan issues? So that starts at 1:30 and we'll wrap up today at 3. So we're really excited about the week's activities.
Jodi, who should attend? Who should, like, who's this? Can anyone attend? Is it targeted to a certain group?
Yep, absolutely. Great question, Francis. So it is open to anyone. However, the majority, obviously, of the folks that are in attendance are those that are serving older adults. So maybe they're service providers, they're nonprofits, they're organizations that do serve the older adult population throughout the state. We have older Coloradans themselves, which is exactly what we want, because that's the voice, right? These issues are affecting me now. And we need to make sure that our legislators know that. Higher education institutions, government officials. So, Francis, it's really been a wide variety of those that touch older adults in one way or another.
That's awesome. That's really good. Are you hearing any themes that outside of the conference of people talking, like, you know, obviously not as much scuttlebutt as you'd have at a normal in-person conference, but is there any chatters of things that are, you know, new things happening or people trying to take this and go to that next step?
Absolutely. So we're after a couple of the presentations this week, you know, people certainly have a better understanding. I think it's a little intimidating to, what do I do? You're asking me to talk to my legislators or talk to my local government councils, but how do I actually do that? And so by laying that kind of foundation and taking away that anxiety of how do I really approach this and showing folks how easy it is. So there's been a lot of talk about, okay, now I can deploy regarding the issue that is passionate to me regarding older adults. I can now deploy these fundamentals that I learned on Monday. One of the examples of that we're actually going to talk about in today's presentation around age discrimination is legislation that a big group of us have been working on about eliminating the high school date box from job applications. Because think about, if I put my high school graduation year, for the most part, we can kind of figure out how old you are, right? But if, you know, give or take a few years. So by eliminating something as simple as that, right off the bat, that helps to eliminate that age discrimination that says, oh, I'm sorry, but this applicant is too old. So it's little things like that a group of us deployed and worked on, and now it's being put through legislation this year. So we're really excited and fingers crossed, hope it passes.
That's awesome. That's really cool.
Yeah, that's so great. Why do we need to know the date someone graduated? Can't we just have a checkbox? Do you have a high school diploma? End of story. Or a GED equivalent. Yeah.
Right.
So fantastic. So for people who might be listening right now and still have the opportunity to hop into today's sessions, how would they do that?
Okay, super easy. So if you go actually to this Colorado Senior Lobby website, which is coloradoseniorlobby.org, you will see right on the homepage the link to register. And since it's free, make sure that you do that. Hop on this morning and get in before 10 o'clock. And that way we can then send you the Zoom link. So coloradoseniorlobby.org. And then we can send you the Zoom link for today's activities.
That's so great. And I love what you're doing. I've always been a big fan, and we're super excited to have you come back, Jodi, for one of our full-blown talks and really share what the Multidisciplinary Center for Aging is doing at Anschutz, because you have so many things that you're doing, and you've been there a little over a year and a half, maybe 2 years.
Year and a half. Yeah,
year and a half. So
good memory.
So you're totally hitting your stride, and it's great to see this happening. So we'll have you come back and talk about that. For our listeners, I hope you enjoyed this. Please, if you have any interest at all in this, go to the website that was up, ColoradoSeniorLobby.org, and register for today. And one quick question, Jodi, if they miss these, were they recorded?
Great question, Catherine. Yes, they've all been recorded. They all will be recorded. So they'll be on the website on Colorado Senior Lobby's YouTube channel. So probably will be posted by next week.
We'll make sure we put those in the comment in the notes section too, to let people drive people to that YouTube channel as well to have catch up, because I think this is only the beginning of how we start to have that impact moving forward on older adults, but also that education of younger adults, right? Getting them prepared and knowledgeable for what we can do as we continue to age in the state of Colorado, which I think is an important key here is talking about our aging discussions earlier, not later.
Yeah. No, thank you. And thank you for being a proponent of that. we love that. So, well, thanks everyone. It was great to see both of you. And thank
you, Jodi. It's fantastic. Yeah. And again, today is the last day, everybody. So if you're interested, jump on to ColoradoSeniorLobby.org before 10 o'clock today. Find a session or two that you like, I think there's only one today. Actually, get on it, listen. This is going to have an impact. So that's our call to action for the Mavericks today is go listen at ColoradoSeniorLobby.org.
And go make some change today, Jodi.
Exactly.
Make change happen.
Woo-hoo.
I love it. Thanks so much for joining us, and we'll talk to you soon.
Sounds great.